welcome back to the show. I am Kachi Offia.
And I'm Mercy Ajishaf Fair. Now, our guest on the show today is an award-winning actress and entrepreneur who has received several nominations and awards for her talent. In 2016, she was nominated for the Africa Viewers' Choice Magic Awards, Africa Magic Viewers' Choice Awards in the Best Supporting Actress category, and in 2018, she won the Best Actress Award in the Toronto International Film Festival. Now, guys, guess what? She's also a Forbes 30 Under 30 recipient.
Now, if you think we're done, we only just started, all right? She just recently produced her first documentary titled Skin under her production company, Beverly Naya Limited. Now, the documentary focuses on colorism and how it affects our society. So, ladies and gentlemen, joining us to discuss the challenges she has faced as a young female entrepreneur, leading to the Forbes 30 Under 30 Awards and producing a documentary and the impact of colorism in her industry and society at large, is the beautiful Nollywood actress, Beverly Naya. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
It is phenomenal to have you. You're an amazing actress.
Thank
Am I right?
you so much. I feel really
nice.
blessed to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's get talking. Before we even get into, the documentary, you know, you've done so many great stuff. You've done, the wedding party, you've done Skinny Girl in Transit.
Yeah.
And, we see you in this type of light.
Here we go.
So we have to talk about that. What's it like? Because I can tell that you are such a sweet person. You're not like that.
Thank
you.
So
How do you react to all of that perception?
Do you know what? For me, it's like, it's annoying. You have to deal with it all the time. And I always say that I'm not in control of how these films come out. I'm not in control of the fact that the wedding party was huge. Neither am I in control of the fact that Skinny Girl in Transit is like a huge online series as well. So like these projects are really, really big. And you also have the other projects where I play roles that you've never seen, like maybe Downtrodden or something, but they're not as big as these other projects. So people tend to assume that you play only one role because those projects are really huge, but it's the curse of the craft.
Now, but let's talk about the journey a bit, because obviously we've known ourselves for a few years now. I know that it hasn't necessarily been easy. Everyone sees the glitz, they see the glamour, they see what you've done, but they don't know the story behind. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about your journey, how you transitioned from the UK, and how you got to where you are now? Because if I'm correct, there was a time where you were almost ready to give it all up and literally get back on the plane and like, listen, Mercy, Liz, I'm done, I'm going.
I mean, the first 2 years were just... It was hard for me, It was hard trying to adjust. It was hard trying to understand the culture. Because, like, British culture, which is very laid back. Like, there's no, it's just simple, like, everything's laid back. But here, like, I mean, you have to deal with the culture constraints. You have to deal with that. You have to, you have to make sure that it's just, there's a lot, Your accent, first and foremost, can throw people off. Because they feel like automatically they just assume that you're not a nice person or you're a snob or that you're going to look down on the next person. And that's not the case, So it was a major culture shock for me when I just moved to Nigeria. And I always say to people that are planning to move to Nigeria, like, the first 2 years are always the toughest. Yeah. If you can get past the first 2 years, you'll be fine. But I mean, I did go back to London, and I mean, around that time, like my first 2 to 3 years, I did suffer from depression, and it was really,
Now, everything seems so glamorous, you do all these things. Let's not forget Before 30 as well. I actually hosted the premiere for that, actually. That was a great show that you did. Now, it seems so glamorous, but actually, in reality, it's not necessarily that glamorous. What would you say your biggest challenge was? Because you say it was hard, it was challenging. What has been your biggest challenge as an actress?
I think striking the balance. If we're talking about the glamour of it, I think striking the balance is really important. I think it's important to do what's right for you. And not to put too much pressure on yourself, because I know like entertainment is super glamorous. I know that there are high expectations of you, but it's so important not to put too much pressure on yourself so that you don't end up compromising yourself or doing things that you wouldn't normally do just to get ahead or just to be seen a certain way. And then you have to live up to that expectation for longer than you would like. Don't put any pressure on yourself, start small and build it from there.
Amazing. Now, talking about, not putting any pressure on yourself, I can imagine how crazy your life gets, seen as the fact that, you're in the public eye. So how do you maintain your private life? How do you handle social media trolls? Because sometimes I look at the comments and I'm just like, I can't imagine. How do you handle it? How do you deal with all of that?
For me, it's always been very important for me to separate my private life from my public life, I'm naturally a very private person, and I think that's helped me a great deal because it's just ensured that people only know what I'm willing to let on, and that's it. Like, social media at the end of the day is social media. So you're in control of what people know about you. You know, if you're putting too much information out there, you can't be offended when you get attacked. It's as simple as that. So you have to be wise about the information that you're putting out there. And I also feel like you shouldn't take the negativity personal at all. Look at this country. Look at the way it is right now. Do you understand? Like, there's so many issues and everything. People are frustrated. People are angry. And I just see it as people are looking for a way to just channel that negative energy. And sometimes it may come your way. So, I mean, you may get negativity coming your way, but I just say don't take it personal, because it's not coming from a place of hate, in my opinion. It's just the circumstances.
No, Beverly, let's change tack a bit. I want to talk about your appearance, because obviously, as you know, Beverly, you are considered one of the most beautiful actresses in Nollywood.
Thank you. But it's true. I mean, they're like, please don't take her. Don't
no, but it's true. No, like,
did you see what she did to you know, this little girl in the wedding party? She would like,
come on.
It's a joke, bro.
No, but it's true, because you are beautiful. You are a beauty. Everyone always
you.
talks about how beautiful you are, which is interesting, because of course you are a dark-skinned actress. You're also an actress who recently started, well, when I say recently, I mean in the last 2 to 3 years, you started on this naturalistic journey, and your appearance has changed quite a bit. You know, you've kind of become a lot more grounded, not only with your appearance, but with a lot of things you're doing right now. Was this on purpose? Was this deliberate? Was this, or did it just happen?
Like, it just happened. For me, it's just like, I spend a lot of time alone. That sounds funny, because it's kind of obvious when you meet me. Like, I'm an only child first and foremost, so I can't help it. You know, I'm naturally a really reserved person, and I spend a lot of time alone. And I think it's important to do that, because then you would spend more time understanding what God's plans for you are, and then walk accordingly. That's how I am. You know, so like, none of this is all of this is organic. You know, I just feel growth is essential. Growth is inevitable, and who I am right now is not who I'm going to be next year. I just feel like I'm just going to keep growing. And that's all it's been for me. I think the more you understand yourself, the less you have to do.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I'm making sense, but
you are. You know, Mercy, Beverly, I do have to ask a question. One thing that I feel a lot of people in the public eye have to deal with is the expectation. When you meet people for the first time, they expect you to just be a certain way to them. So looking at you now, we were just talking about this earlier, you know, looking at how you are in the movies and how you're like bam, bam, bam. You know, how have you been able to, you know, manage that expectation? That thing where you meet people, they're looking at you like, you know, in terms of your dressing, your speech, where you go, how you relate with people, how do you cope with that?
I mean, I just have to keep being me, ultimately. I think that's important. I'm not going to change who I am to please anyone. And I just feel like in those type of situations, like you said, where people are just automatically mean to you because they assume that you're going to be mean first, you know, I'm always polite regardless, you know, because I mean, I don't see the point in, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I have moments where I'm human at the end of the day. I've been in instances where people will deliberately try to piss you off and then just to get a reaction from you. Sometimes I play into it, but most times I don't, because I know what's going on, you know? And it's really because of these films. But yeah.
Well, it's all right. I love you like that.
Now, I'm super excited because, of course, as a dark-skinned woman, this is something that is very close to my heart. Because when I first moved to Nigeria, interestingly enough, quick story, I remember when I first moved to Nigeria, I met a few people in the industry, and someone said to me, you know what, you're very, very good at what you do. This was when I just got back. I'd just been shortlisted to present at the Olympics 2012.
Oh, amazing.
So, you know, this is something we've been doing it. Those who used to listen on radio, this is something we've been doing for a long time. But I was told something. They said, you know, you're very good at what you do. But you do realise that as a dark-skinned girl, it's not going to be so easy for you. In fact, the exact words were, if you go to an audition and there is a light-skinned girl there, forget it. You're not going to get a job. It does not matter whether... He actually said it doesn't matter whether she can speak English. It doesn't matter whether she's good. You won't get it.
Very negative.
And I was like, what is that? Now, a friend was with me, actually, who was more Nigerian, now said to me, Dukwe, that's my native name, I think we have to start bleaching you. And I still remember, because I just moved here, and I was like, you're absolutely insane. Why would you say something like that? But then the longer I spent here, I understood that there was a mentality. I mean, what is the percentage? I think 77% of Nigerian women are bleaching. Now, interestingly enough, you as an actress, like I just said, you're a dark-skinned woman, you've done very well. You decided that you were going to take this to the big screen and create your own documentary called Skin that explores colorism and everything. Now, before we talk about that, we're just going to throw to a quick trailer and just have a look at what that it's all about.
Okay.
beautiful.
Thank
but
you.
I do have to ask, as much as, we understand what we have a sense of what Skin is trying to talk about. I'm really curious because I did see all sorts of people in Bobrisky, who is literally like, when you talk about people who are trying to alter their skin, he is the model. So are you trying to basically talk about people not bleaching, like, oh look, we don't do bleaching, you shouldn't bleach, or are you just basically trying to just say, look, at the end of the day, what I want to bleach you don't want to bleach, just let people live in their skin. What exactly are you trying to push with skin?
I think, for me, the main message is the fact that all black is beautiful, first and foremost. And the reason why Bobrisky is in there is because, as you said, like, everyone knows that Bobrisky bleaches and he's proud of it.
He is.
But I wanted to understand why. I wanted to understand how he got there. Because I feel like if you understand that perspective, you can not generally, but to a certain degree, understand why other people, like, not everyone, but other people may bleach. And it was interesting what he said. Like, he gave some really interesting revelations. Like, he basically said that, he attributed it to poverty. He said that, I don't want to give too, I can't give away too much.
I know, but you can't, actually, you cannot.
But he said some really, like, intriguing things that kind of made me understand why people bleach. Not everyone, but him in particular, and then some other people that I interviewed too who also bleach. I also went to Makoko, I think that's
yeah.
And I interviewed people there, and it just, understanding their perspective just made it really interesting to me. But the general message for me is about heritage and identity, you know? I went to my village, and the reason why I did this was because I felt like if I could use myself as an example and go back to my village and speak to my grandma and find out more about Black beauty and how she feels about Black beauty, and find out more about my culture in general, that, me doing that would probably and hopefully empower and inspire other people to do the same thing, find out more about their heritage. I feel like if you're able to understand who you are truly from within, everything about you, then it will motivate how you see yourself physically and how you live your life.
Amazing. But I do have to ask you about this, though. There are people that just bleach just because. So what do you think about, or what do you have to say to people who use, changing the color of their skin as a way to gain validation from maybe people, or just to feel better about themselves? Nothing valid, no skin problem, no valid underlying issue, just because you just like it.
Yeah.
You just want to feel like you were fairer, you were Kim Kardashian light. I've heard somebody say that before. That, oh, look, don't worry, I'm fairer than Kim Kardashian. She can't even...
Someone has actually said this?
I'm not joking. Somebody said that, look, I'm fairer than Kim.
Yeah.
And, it was
do you know what this is? Bottom line, for me, I always say that, when the director, Daniel F. Young, when we sat down in the very beginning and we talked about this documentary, I said, look, Daniel, I don't want to shoot an anti-bleaching campaign. This is not what it is.
Yeah.
It's not an anti-bleaching campaign. It's not a documentary about judging people for their choices.
Yeah.
It's really about empowering young people, the next generation, the parents, empowering parents to teach their children about self-love, so that we can have a new generation where people appreciate their complexion, whether it's light skin, whether it's dark skin, whether it's brown. It's not about brown skin people saying, okay, I want to be lighter, or someone else telling them you should be lighter, and then they run with it because they don't know who they are. Do you understand? It's about empowering people so that they love themselves. It's absolutely not.
Beverly, briefly, I just wanted to ask you, because I've listened to everything you said, and first of all, I have to say honestly, I'm looking at you directly in your eye when I say this. Well done. Really a big, massive well done, because this is such an important story that needs to tell. Now, briefly, before you tell us what's next for Beverly Naya, can you tell us what your mindset was? When you decided to actually make this documentary at that point in time, briefly, what was your mindset when you said, hey, Daniel, we're doing this?
Okay. Do you know what? I was on this journey. It started in 2014. I watched the video and I saw that I've been on this for a while. But when I sat down with, I have to go back. Before, like, Daniel F. Young, I have to go back to 2014. And for me, I got bullied as a child. That's where it came from.
I was about to ask.
But interestingly, I didn't get bullied for my complexion, I got bullied for different stuff, like just eczema, all kinds of stuff, and it really affected my self-esteem. I grew up feeling extremely insecure. I didn't love myself, and it took a while to find myself. And that's how I started the 50 Shades of Black journey. Mainly because I started doing research on colorism, and I discovered that colorism was another form of bullying. And I always wanted to do an anti-bullying campaign. So I was like, okay, how about I combine the two and come up with 50 Shades of Black? And I started it in 2014 because I felt insecure about myself. I didn't love myself. And I felt like if I can empower other people to love themselves, then...
it's pretty much
I love
that.
that. So amazing.
Literally, I love the fact, because clearly you have just owned everything. You've
Yeah.
owned your skin color, you've owned your hair, you've owned your style.
Yeah.
And we love you for that, Beverly Naya. So you are amazing and beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
coming
having me.
on Rise.
Thank you.
Honestly, Beverly,
Yeah.
it's been such a pleasure having you on the
It's
show.
been
Honestly, I look
fun.
forward. Very quickly, can you tell us what you're doing next? Just very quickly. What's your next project? What are you doing next? Very briefly.
Next project? I mean, do you know what? The focus is skin right now.
I love it.
I've got
I
films
love it.
lined up and
Love
whatnot,
it.
but my focus is skin. I mean, thank you to everyone that's involved. I've got a few announcements. I've got an amazing announcement on International Women's Day. Can't wait to
We
share.
cannot wait.
Perfect. That will be awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we've had the beautiful and the talented Beverly Naya here. And as you know, skin is most definitely in. Now, we're going to take another short break now, but stay tuned for Rise 360 because coming up, we'll be discussing film and television. Don't go away because we'll be right back.